Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Hello, Vivian. So, Happy New Year, and it's time for us to meet again. Before we proceed, let us pay respect, pay homage to the Triple Gem together. นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะสาธุ Hello everyone, my name is Pikuni or Ayya Khemavamsi from Thailand, from Mahavanatutanka. Today is the first Uposatha day this year in 2024, right? So as the first Uposatha day, that's why I brought up this topic. I would like to talk about what's important in Buddhism. What's important in the Buddha's teaching, that is the Four Noble Truths. I believe that you all have heard about the Four Noble Truths and also the Four Noble Truths in detail as instructed in this one, MN 141, right? But it's another good opportunity for you all to re-listen to this sutta again. Okay? Hi Yankee Apple, hi Manao. So let's start together. As always, I have done the PowerPoint because it's in detail, so we need to, learn together and discuss together. This is the analysis of the truth or the Four Noble Truths in detail. It's from the Tipitaka Middle Discourse 141. And this is the link for you all that I'm gonna post in the comment section. So you can study together. The analysis of the truth. In this sutra, it happened near Varanasi. This sutra, the Ananta Thera said, so I have heard, at one time the Buddha was staying near Varanasi in the deer park in Isipatana, that the Buddha addressed Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasaka, Upasika, or the lay people. And then the Buddha said, near Varanasi, in the deer park at Isipatana, the realized one, the perfected one, the fully awakened Buddha rolled forth the supreme will of Dhamma. And that will cannot be rolled back by any ascetic or Brahmin or God or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. It is the teaching, advocating, establishing, clarifying, analyzing, and reviewing of the Four Noble Truths. So this is interesting. In this sutra, the first, we can see the word, the realized one. And then you will listen to it again in the end of this talk. Normally, when we address the Buddha, we say like the blessed one. Yes, the perfected one or the Arahant, right? But the perfected one is also the Buddha, the fully awakened, because the Buddha have awakened the truth, all the truth. And this word, the realized one. So the Dhamma, the teachings of Buddha, is not something that the Buddha have created by himself. The Buddha talk about this, that even though there is no Buddha, even though there is no Kotama, right? Saccavibhaṅga, yeah. Even though there's no him, the truth of this nature is gonna stay the same. It's gonna be the truth. And he's just the one who know the truth, who realize the truth, who awaken, fully awaken, that know that, okay, this is suffering, this is ignorant delusion, this is like the cause of suffering, and so on. So for me, when I read this, and I just feel like, yeah, this is like the good translation, the realized one, the perfected one, the fully awakened one. The Buddha wrote forth the supreme will of Dhamma, as you may remember in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. And this will cannot be rolled back by anyone in the world. So this is the teaching, advocating, establishing, clarifying, and analyzing, the reviewing of the Four Noble Truths. What for? You all know, right? The noble truth of suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation or the end of suffering, and the path, the way, the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. So when people talk about Buddhism as the cause and effect, so this is like, you can see the first noble truth is the outcome, right? Okay, there is suffering. And then the Buddha said, there is a cause, which is the origin of suffering. So you have the outcome, the consequence, the effect, and there is a cause. And also the cessation of suffering, there is the end of suffering. When there is suffering and the end of suffering, how to achieve it, how to end the suffering. Okay, the fourth one is the cause, the path, but here the Buddha said, he used the word Magga. Magga is the path, the way, or as this translation that I attached to you is the practice, something that you have developed that leads to the end of suffering. The Buddha said, Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasaka, Upasika, or mendicants, you should cultivate friendship with Sariputta and Moggallana, the two main disciples. You should associate with Sariputta and Moggallana. They are astute, and they support their spiritual companions. Sariputta is just like the mother who gives birth, while Moggallana is like the one who raises the child. Sariputta guides people to the fruit of stream entry, the first noble disciple. Moggallana to the highest goal. Sariputta is able to explain, teach, assert, establish, clarify, analyze, and review the Four Noble Truths in detail. So from this forward, it's going to be the Sariputta Thera who explained in detail. You know, I'm not sure that you have or you are familiar with the phrase, with this phrase or not, but in Thailand, many master, many teacher brought up this phrase, Sariputta is just like the mother who gives birth. For example, when anybody, they cannot reach to the Buddha, they cannot, go and ask the Buddha himself, but the Sariputta, maybe he can teach, he can, assert, clarify, and then with the explanation delivered by the Sariputta Thera, that person can, reach or can, I don't know what to go, can be the first noble disciple because he know like, okay, this is the triple gem. The Buddha is real. The Dhamma is the answer. And the Sangha, the Sariputta can help me with this, as the Buddha said, the Sariputta and also the Moggallana Thera support the spiritual companion. So it's just like the Sariputta give birth. Okay, come this way. I explained you and you get it, you get the idea, and now you become the disciple again. And after that, the Moggallana Thera is like the one who raised the child to the highest goal. So that person can reach like Anakami or the Arahantship, like the perfected one, with the help of the Mokkhalana, with the like magical power, something like that. Not that the Mokkhalana like give blessing with his magical power. It's not like that. But maybe the Mokkhalana know how to teach, know the mind, so he can, help that person to achieve the highest goal that he can achieve. So this is what the Buddha said. And after that, this is what the Buddha said. Like, and when he had spoken, the Buddha got up from his seat and entered his dwelling. Then soon after the Buddha left, Venerable Sariputta said to all the people there, and then people there, okay, now the Sariputta gonna explain what is the Four Noble Truths. The Sariputta Thera, the Venerable Sariputta said, what is the noble truth of suffering? The first noble truth, what is it? Rebirth is suffering. Old age is suffering. Death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress are suffering. Not getting what you wish for is suffering. In brief, the five grasping aggregates are suffering. Now, in detail, what is rebirth? The rebirth, inception, conception. So conception usually refers to the moment becoming pregnant, right? But inception refers more to the beginning, like when the soul enter the womb, something like that, beginning to entering upon an undertaking, something like that. So the rebirth, inception, conception, reincarnation, manifestation of the aggregates, and acquisition of the sense fields. The sense fields like eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind of various sentient beings in the various orders of sentient beings. This is called rebirth. So rebirth is suffering. Why? Because rebirth or birth brings old age, brings sickness, brings death again. So when people say like, I'm afraid of death, I don't want to die. And then some people say, if you don't want to die, why don't you think of how can I not, be rebirth again? I don't want to be reborn again. Then I don't have to die. So this is the rebirth. What is old age? The old age, decrepitude, broken teeth, gray hair, wrinkly skin, diminished vitality, and failing faculties of the various sentient beings in the various orders of sentient beings. This is called old age. So you might have like the broken teeth, gray hair, wrinkly, like the skin might not be the same like when you're 50 or when you're 40s. It might not be the same as when you're like 15 or 20. Diminished vitality. When you're a kid, you're a child, you can run, like all day long. But when you're in the 30, 40, 50, you get tired easily, right? And that is the sign of old age. But actually, people getting old all the time, right? The hair grow longer. So it's just like, and then fall out, something like that. So this is the old age. What is death? The passing away, perishing, disintegration, demise, mortality, death, disease, breaking up of the aggregates, laying to rest of the corpse, and cutting off of the life, faculty of the various sentient beings in the various orders of sentient beings. This is called death. So you can see like, it's just like the synonym and more like in detail, like passing away, yes, perishing, yes, demise, yes, death, it's just the same. Breaking up of the aggregates, it's just, and this one cutting off of the life faculty. In Abhidhamma, they say like maybe sometime when you have no breath anymore, and then people, oh, this person is dead. But sometimes the life faculty, in Pali we call Chivittinsi, is still there. Gonna be maybe after that for a while, the life faculty, or maybe the soul get out of the body, something like that. So this is like the Sariputta Thera, the Venerable Sariputta, explained in detail. Next, what is sorrow? The sorrow, sorrowing, state of sorrow, inner deep sorrow. In someone who has undergone misfortune, who has experienced suffering, this is called sorrow. So for someone who has experienced suffering, obviously they're gonna encounter the sorrow. But you can notice in this vocabulary, gonna be like more in depth, right? Sorrow, sorrowing, state of sorrow, inner deep sorrow in someone who has undergone misfortune, who has experienced suffering. What is lamentation? The wail, lament, wailing, lamenting, state of wailing, and lamentation in someone who has undergone misfortune, who has experienced suffering. This is called lamentation. What is pain? Physical pain, physical unpleasantness. Maybe some people say like, no, I don't have pain, but it's just the feeling of unpleasantness, not satisfying, not pleasant. The painful, unpleasant feeling that is born from physical contact, that is called pain. What is sadness? It's different. Sadness is the mental pain, not from the physical, but pain inside, mental pain, mental displeasure, the painful, unpleasant feeling that is born from mind contact. When you think of something that is unpleasant, when you think of, the past experience that is like a trauma in your life, and you feel pain inside, mental pain. So this is called sadness. What is distress? The distress, state of stress, and distress in someone who has undergone misfortune, who has experienced suffering. This is called distress. What is not getting what you wish for is suffering. In sentient beings who are liable to be reborn, such a wish arises. Oh, if only we were not liable to be reborn, if only rebirth would not come to us, but you can get that by wishing. In sentient beings who are liable to grow old, of course we all are liable to grow old, fall ill, die, experience sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. Such a wish arises. Oh, if only we're not liable to experience sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. If only these things would not come to us. But you can't get that by wishing. This is not getting what you wish for is suffering. When you experience life, right? As I mentioned that when we are born, you bring sickness with you. You bring death with you, because everyone who is born then gonna die eventually one day. And during this, like the journey of the life, you have to encounter with the sickness, with like heartbreak, with the physical pain, with the mental pain, with, I wish for something, or you wish for this thing to happen, but you cannot get what you wish. Just like this one. When you experience like the sadness, the distress, the lamentation, and anything like that, and you wish like, I don't want to be reborn again, but you don't, like help yourself out from the samsara. You still wish, you still have the cause of suffering, so you are liable to be reborn, and then everything, the suffering, is gonna happen anyway. Talk about what you wish for. Remind me of this sutra that I'm gonna attach the link to you here. This sutra is from the book of the five, Anguttara Nikaya, Itta Sutta 5.43, wish for. The Buddha said there are these five things, householder, that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. What are they? Beauty, happiness, fame, heaven. What is the other one? Oh, long life. The first one, long life, beauty, happiness, fame, and heaven. These five things that people wish for, desired, agreeable, but rarely gained in the world. The Buddha said, these five things are not obtained by means of prayers or aspiration. You cannot wish for happiness to occur. You cannot wish for the beauty or the fame or the long life to occur. The Buddha said, if these five things that are wished for, are desired, could be obtained by means of prayers or aspiration, who here would be lacking in anything? Right? You cannot just sit in the room and then wish, may I live long. No, there are many factors for to be healthy. May I have like the good complexion, or may I have the beauty? You cannot wish that and then you just sit and do nothing. Or the beauty cannot last, so you cannot wish to be as beautiful as you were in the 20s or something like that. You cannot wish yourself to be happy, because everything's gonna change. The happy moment's gonna change. It cannot last forever, right? You cannot wish yourself to be like famous by just wishing. And also heaven, you cannot wish, may I go to heaven, may I go to heaven, when you still do like bad conduct, you still like, cultivate unwholesome qualities. You cannot, when you cultivate unwholesome quality all the time, you cannot wish for the heaven. The heaven cannot be granted only by wishing. So, yeah, this is things that you can get that by wishing. And this is not getting what you wish for is suffering. Next, what is, in brief, the five grasping aggregates are suffering? They are the grasping aggregates that consist of form, feeling, memory, perception, and consciousness. This is called the five grasping aggregates are suffering, and this is called the noble truth of suffering. As you remember, we have the Dhamma talk in the topic of burden, Parasutta. The Buddha said, what is the burden? The burden is the five grasping aggregates, the five khandha, form, feeling, memory, perception, and consciousness that you hold on to. If you hold on to the five aggregates, it's called the five grasping aggregates, and it is the burden, and it is the suffering. Why? Because the form, feeling, memory, perception, and consciousness is just like the natural thing that arise and then pass away. It cannot last. So it's like the nature thing that it just arise and then pass away, arise and then disappear. But when you try to hold on to things that's gonna disappear anyway, to hold on to things that not gonna last, that is the suffering. That is the burden that you carry. I want to hold on to the good memory in the past, but it cannot last, right? You want to hold on, you want to cling on to the good thinking. I want to have the good thought all the time. No, it cannot happen like that because perception comes from, the contact, right? When you see good thing, then good memory occur, good perception, and then you think blah blah blah. And when you see another thing, bad thing, that you think that you have the memory that is bad, oh, bad, oh, another perception, another feeling arise. So you cannot really control it. If you try to control, if you try to cling on to the certain quality of it, that is the suffering. So this is the first noble truth in detail. Next, what is the noble truth of the origin of suffering? It is the craving, desire that leads to future lives. Because you're still craving, sometimes I wish maybe they're still craving, so they're still clinging. And when there's clinging, they're going to be rebirth, they're going to be I, me, my, and then going to be, future lives. Mixed up with religion and greed, taking pleasure wherever it lands. That is craving for sensual pleasures, craving to continue existence. Maybe next life gonna be in heaven. Maybe next life gonna be richer. Maybe next life gonna be like famous and happy all the time, something like that. You still have a desire to continue existence, and also craving to end existence. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the president anymore. It's too much work. I don't want to be the mother anymore. I don't want to be the student anymore. I don't want to do the project anymore. Or nirotha tanha, or craving for the cessation of suffering. This is another cause of suffering. If you cling, if you crave, if you take pleasure in it, if you, with the desire. I know that it might sound weird, but you might say like, oh, then when I wish to attain the nibbana, nirvana, that is the cause of suffering, right? It is going to be the cause of suffering if you cling on to it. If you don't follow the Noble Eightfold Path, if you wish it to happen, if you like crave with the full desire, with delusion, with ignorance, not with the wisdom. If you wish for the Nibbana with the wisdom, then you have to know that it depends on the cause and effect. Now that follow the path of the Noble Eightfold Path, that is to cultivate the good factors for this being to reach the Nibbana. Whenever I don't care, but I know that I'm in the path. That's it. And this path gonna lead to Nirvana. That's it. If you think like this is not gonna be your cause of suffering. But if you wish like, when I want to reach the Nirvana this life as soon as possible, I need to go to the retreat. I need to sit for like 6 hours. 6 hours not enough, maybe 10 hours, 16 hours continuously, because I want to reach the Nibbana right now. This is going to be the origin of suffering. So you have to, distinguish. Okay? So this is called the double truth of the origin of suffering, the second one. The third one, what is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering or the end of suffering? It is the fading away and cessation of that very same craving with nothing left over, giving it away, letting it go, releasing it, and not clinging to it. This is called the noble truth of the end of suffering. So there are many words. Fading away, okay. Giving away, let go, release, not clinging. Sorry, it's just something in the eye. So this is the end of suffering. So you know that is suffering and the end of suffering. It's just like not cling and then let go of the craving. How? How to achieve this one? How to achieve the end of suffering? How to reach the goal that everyone in Buddhism love to go there? The Sariputta Thera here in this sutra say, what is the noble truth of the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering? It is simply the noble eightfold path, that is, right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Sooth asks here that is relevant to this. I'm gonna talk about this, How does following the Noble Eightfold Path allow for letting go of 5 aggregates? Okay, then we're gonna discuss about this. The first one, what is the right view? Knowing about suffering, the origin of suffering, the end of suffering, the way, the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. This is called right view. So the first one, the Buddha talk about the wisdom. The right view is the wisdom. When people say the Noble Eightfold, the Noble Eightfold Path is about Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, or the code of conduct precepts about the Samadhi concentration and the Panya or the wisdom. The first noble truth is the wisdom, the right view. So the first thing, if you have the right view, so you know what is good, right? Know about suffering. Okay, this is suffering. Okay, this is the cause of suffering. Clinging on to the 5 aggregates is the suffering. It's the cause of suffering. By letting go, by not clinging on to it, is the end of suffering. If you have the wisdom, if you don't have the knowledge like this, then you can bit by bit let go of the 5 aggregates, because like when you cling on to it, suffering. When you let go, not suffering. So the first one is the wisdom. Know the 4 noble truths, which you might think like, okay, the first one you have to know the 4 noble truths, but the last one, right? Is it the last one? But this one is in the path that leads to the cessation suffering. So like the first one, when you study the teachings of the Buddha, it's not just like for people in the past, maybe they can listen one time and then get enlightened. But for us in this period of time, maybe you have to listen again and again. So okay, this is the 4th noble truth, right? The way that leads to the end of suffering. And the first one of this category, the right view, is to know the 4 noble truths again. So you have to like relearn, listen, learn, and then contemplate and then reflect it over and over and over until you have the right view. Oh, now I get it. And when you have the right view, it's going to lead to have the right thought, the right speech, and the life action. When you have the right mindset, I think, the right view, then like this is what you should do. This is what you should not do. So the right thought is the thought of renunciation. Try to get out of the sensual pleasures, because the sensual pleasure, it gives the happy moment that's gonna last just a brief moment, right? For example, when you have to wait for the queue in the restaurant for like an hour, and then you eat, cannot be longer than an hour, then you feel full, I cannot eat again. And Sometimes when people like wait for an hour to eat just one meal, that happy moment does not last long. But if you take the path that renunciation, try to get out of sensual pleasure, then you know like the inner peace, the contentment here that you receive is greater. For one example, so the thought of renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness, this is called right thought. When you have the right view, you have the right thought, and then right speech. It's just like the process here, right? When you have the right view, and then the right thought, and then delivered through speech. What is the right speech? Refraining from lying, divisive speech, like you try to make two groups of people, dispute or to, quarrel or fight or with like don't understand each other, something like that. I don't know, the vocabulary. Divisive speech, harsh speech, and talking nonsense. This is called right speech. The right action, right view, right thought, right speech, and then right action. What is it? Refraining from killing living creatures, stealing, and sexual misconduct. This is called right action. So if you notice here, if you have the right view, this is the wisdom, right? The right wisdom. Then you are able to keep the conduct, to keep the 5 precepts. The 5 precepts, the first one, refrain from killing. The second one, refrain from stealing. The third one, refrain from sexual misconduct. The fourth one, refrain from lying. And then divisive speech, harsh speech, and talking nonsense is included in kusala, kusala kamabot, kusala kamapatha. And then the fifth one here, refrain from taking like the alcohol beverages, right? Because why? Because it makes you not mindful. It makes you careless. And when you're careless, then you can do number one and number one to number four. Like you can, kill, steal, have the sexual misconduct, and then tell lies. Okay? And what is the right livelihood? When you do the job, do the career, or do any task, it is when a noble disciple gives up the wrong livelihood and earns the living by the right livelihood. This is called the right livelihood. So the Buddha give like the broad explanation. So how do I judge like this is the right livelihood, the right career, the right work for me or not? There's the way to determine. That is, when you work, you have to have the right thought, the right speech, and then the right action. So if you have the right thought, the right speech, the right action, then automatically you're gonna have the right livelihood. In case that when you work, you're gonna have the right livelihood. And then what is the right effort? The first one is when you generate enthusiasm, tries, make an effort, exert the mind, and strive so that bad and skillful qualities don't arise. The first one, you make an effort so that the bad and skillful qualities don't arise. The second one, so the bad and skillful quality don't arise. So the second one, unskillful qualities that have arisen are given up, are abandoned. And then the third one, try to make the opposite, right? So make an effort so that the skillful qualities arise instead of the unskillful qualities. And the fourth one, You generate enthusiasm, try, make an effort, exert the mind, and strive so that skillful qualities that have arisen remain, are not lost, moreover, increase, mature, and are completed by development. This is called right effort. Next, what is right mindfulness? It is when you meditate by observing an aspect of the body, feelings, mind, and principle of the Dhamma. This is in the Satipatthana 4, the foundations of mindfulness. So if you practice or if you follow the Satipatthana 4, and then you meditate by observing body, feeling, mind, or the Dhamma that arise, you are keen, aware, and are mindful. Get rid of the covetousness and displeasure for the world. This is called right mindfulness. And with all the 1 and the number 7, all this right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, eventually you're going to have the right concentration without forcing. You don't have to force for the right concentration. It is the outcome of number 1 through number 7. How? In short, is when you reach the from the first jhana to the fourth jhana. It is when you quite secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unskillful qualities, from the any hindrances, enters and remain in the first jhana, which has the rapture, bliss, born of seclusion. While placing the mind and keeping it connected, you still have the vitakka vichara. This is in Pali word. As the placing of the mind and keeping it connected are stilled, they enter and remain in the second jhana, which has the rapture and bliss born of concentration, with internal clarity and mind at one, without placing the mind and keeping it connected. The second jhana, you don't have vitakka vichara. And with the fading away of rapture, no more piti, they enter and remain in the third jhana, where they meditate with equanimity, mindful and aware, personally experiencing the bliss of which the noble ones declare, equanimous and mindful, one meditates in bliss, giving up pleasure and pain, and ending former happiness and sadness, they enter and remain in the fourth jhana. So in the fourth jhana, no more happiness, no more sadness, no more like pleasure or pain. With pure equanimity and mindfulness, this is called right concentration. This is called the noble truth of the practice that leads to the cessation or the end of suffering. And then at the end of this sutra, the Venerable Sariputta said, near Varanasi, in the deer park at Isipatana, the realized one, the perfected one, the fully awakened Buddha rolled forth the supreme will of Dhamma, and that will cannot be rolled back by any ascetic or Brahmin or God or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. It is the teaching, advocating, establishing, clarifying, analyzing, and revealing of the Four Noble Truths. And that's what Venerable Sariputta said. Satisfied, the bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, upasaka, upasika there approved what Sariputta said. This is from the Middle Discourse 141. Here you can learn the Four Noble Truths in detail, right? You know, so the Sariputta Thera, sorry, I don't know what's going on with the maybe allergic or something like that. You can learn in detail, okay, what is rebirth? Okay, what is death? In detail with different vocabulary that has the slight and like the deeper word used to like cover all okay, what is sorrow? What is sadness? What is lamentation? What is the cause of suffering? What is the end? And what is, the path that leads to the cessation in detail. Yeah. So this is why I would like to talk about this topic as the first Uposatha day in this year, so you can re-listen to the Four Noble Truths again and then get deeper in detail. But even though even though we learn together in the Four Noble Truths, still we need to talk about this again. The duty. We don't just learn about the Four Noble Truths. Okay, this is suffering. This is the cause. This is the end. This is the way to the end of suffering. This is how we achieve the goal. But we have to know the duty as well. The duty the Buddha said in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, SN 56.11. The suffering is to be fully understood. The suffering is, the Buddha doesn't say that suffering is for you to suffer more. You don't have to, learn about suffering and suffer more. That is not the Buddha teach, the Buddha taught. This is not what we as the Buddhists, oh, you are the Buddhist, then you suffer more because you study about the suffering. No, it's not like that. But the Buddha said, the suffering is to be fully understood. If you fully understood, then you know that why should I be reborn again? This is not what we should cling on to, you know what I mean? Okay, go to Japan again. Oh, may all the Japanese people, or may everyone in Japan be safe. I just heard about the news. And if you fully understood about all the suffering, then it's easier for you to get detached from it. Then you don't want to be reborn again. Then you know how to, and then it's easier for you to practice in the fourth noble truth. And the origin of suffering is to be abandoned. That the desire, the craving, the three types of craving is to be abandoned, are to be abandoned. Not cultivate more, not accumulate it. Like, I want this and I want that and I want this, and then I don't want to become like this. I want to blah blah blah. You have to know that the cause of suffering is the desire, is the clinging onto it, and then it should be abandoned. And then you have to know that the end of suffering is to be realized. This is why the Buddha is called the realized one. It's not just make up in your mind like, okay, this is the end of suffering. Now I let go of everything. If you still have the I am the one to let go of things, maybe it's not fully realized. But the cessation suffering is there. The nirvana is there. No more greed, no more desire, no more anger, no more hatred, no more delusion, no more ignorance. It has to be realized like, oh, okay, this is it. This is the state of no more kilesa. And the way leading to end of suffering is to be developed. You cannot wish for the nirvana only. When we say Nibbana Paccaya Hotu, are you familiar with this phrase? Nibbana Paccaya Hotu. It is not like, okay, when the monk say Nibbana Paccaya Hotu, may you reach the nirvana. Who am I? to grant the wish for you to reach Nibbana when I'm still the one who try to follow, to try to practice in the way leading to the end of suffering. So it's not for someone to grant your wish like, okay, may you reach Nibbana. It's just like, think of it as the way that we share each other. We share up each other. Like, okay, this is the good deeds. This is good action. May you reach the Nibbana. But who? You have to do it on your own. You have to develop the good qualities. You have to accumulate, to cultivate the wholesome qualities. You might think this is like how to cultivate more atta or more self, right? No, it's not like that. Maybe think of it like use the self to get rid of the self. Use the, we have in one sutra, use the mana to get rid of mana. For example, that person can attain the arahantship, can be the perfected one, so I can be the perfected one as well. If I follow the path instructed by the Buddha, I can achieve that goal too. Me too. So you use the mana to get rid of the mana. So you use the self to get rid of the self. But when you use the self, you use with mindfulness. Not be overwhelmed with the self, you know what I mean? If you get stuck in the self, that is not the way. But use it as an equipment. For example, there's one sutra that in order to reach another shore, you have to make the boat. Yeah, the boat, right? Yeah, something for you to, take you to another shore, to cross the river. So you have to, cultivate wholesome qualities, get rid of unwholesome qualities, the right effort. Have to do it, okay, I follow the path, something like that. And then you yourself is the one to row the boat. Once you reach another shore, don't cling on to it. Sapphe dhamma nalang aphinivesaya. Just all of them just cannot be cling on to. And should not be cling on to, because once you reach the shore, what to do with the boat? You cannot carry the boat on your shoulder, right? You have to, okay, leave it here, leave it to the shore, and then you go on with the journey without carrying it. So okay, it's just like one more example, just like when you want to succeed in the marathon, you have to earn it by yourself, right? You cannot like, okay, can you um, do the marathon for me and then give me the medal? No, it's not like that, right? You have to earn it yourself. You have to do it on your own. You have to develop just like this. You have to develop. You have to practice. You have to follow and be in the path to the end of suffering. It's just like when you do the marathon. When you do it, you use the self. For example, okay, I need to get up early. Okay, I have to train hard. Okay, I have to eat like this and not eat that. I have to, stay and stick to the pattern of the training. I wish to train. This is my what I choose to do. I choose to live in this path to do the training. So sensual pleasure, okay, maybe next, no, it's gonna obstruct the path. It's gonna, make you sway from the path. So you have to use the self to train. And while you train, the atta or the self, you have to know like this is just the material, this is just the equipment for me to reach to another shore. So use it with mindfulness. And once you reach to the destination, to the goal, to the line, when you reach it, everything is just like you don't have to carry on working or training or do like that. It just finished. It's just like when the arahantship or the perfected one declare that the knowledge and unshakable is the liberation of the mind. This is the last birth. Now there is no more renewed existence. As in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, when the Buddha discussed or taught about the Four Noble Truths, the Buddha said, when my knowledge and vision of the Four Noble Truths as they really are in their three phases and 12 aspects. What are the 12 aspects? The Buddha talked about the Four Noble Truths, right? And then the first one, okay, what is suffering? Second one is the duty. For example, the suffering is to be fully understood. And the third one, the Buddha have fully understood. So this is the three phases with the Four Noble Truths, so there are 12 aspects. When this was thoroughly purified in this way, then I claim to have awakened to the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment in this world with its Deva, Mara, and Brahma, in this generation with its ascetic and Brahmins, its Deva and humans. The knowledge and vision arose in me. Unshakable is the liberation of my mind. This is my last birth. Now there is no more renewed existence. And this is what the Buddha said in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So yeah, this is about the Four Noble Truths in detail and the duty that we need to relearn again to be able to, stay true to the path by not, like swaying or get any distraction. Stay true to the path to the end of suffering, nirvana. Well, this is like quite the long Dhamma talk. So 2 more minutes. I'm gonna take this time to read a comment and maybe question and answer. Dhamma learner, I read your email, but I haven't answered yet. Good morning, Ayya, and to everyone joining today. Also, Happy New Year to everyone who celebrates. May the New Year bring us all deeper understanding of the Dhamma. Thank you, Ayya, for today's talk. Yes, may this year bring you all the deeper understanding of the Dhamma, and you, the one who, study the Dhamma, and study more and more, and then you get a deeper and deeper and clearer understanding of the Dhamma. Hi Min. Hi Krishna Dalami. Hi Pumika from New Jersey. Hi Nivanshan from Nepal, Buddha's birthplace. Hi Bhikkhu Chittavara. Namaste. Namaskara. Hi Sooth. Sooth said Happy New Year to all Kalyana Mitta. Hello. สวัสดีค่ะคุณวิทวิน Hi Jia. Hi Gregory. Thank you for teaching, Ayya. Niranjan asks, am I correct in the fourth stage of Shana, the respiration will be completely stopped for 7 days? No, not for 7 days. The fourth Shana, no more pleasure, no more pain, no more, right? It's just the pure equanimity, pure one-pointedness of mind. And I'm not sure, but in this period, in this stage of the Shana, you cannot sense the breathe in, breathe out anymore. And from the fourth Shana, going to be the fifth Shana, right? The fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth Shana is the Arupa Shana, no form. So no form. So in the fourth jhana, no more. You still breathing, but you cannot sense the breath. But not gonna be for 7 days. For some people who stay in the arupa jhana, no form. For any days is up to them. But for some people, no more breath for a certain period. And when they get out, or not get out, when they're out of the fourth jhana to the third jhana, it's just the same. You feel the breath again. So it doesn't mean that you have to, like for 7 days, not like that. During the period that you stay in the fourth jhana and then the arupa jhana. Johan asks, does dwelling in jhana create good dharma? Actually, in the jhana, create good dharma. Yes, some part is true, but I believe from the, I'm not sure. I have to ask someone who like expert in Abhidhamma. When you stay in equanimity, it's just like when there's atukkhama sukha vedana, right? It's just like not pleasure, not unpleasant, equanimity, right? When you stay in that state of equanimity, it's just like when you rent a place in the Brahma realm. You know what I mean? If you think of, be reborn in the Brahma realm, prom. If you think of it as a good karma, yes, it's good karma. Yes. But for someone who doesn't want to be reborn again, stay in the state of jhana is just to accumulate the power, make the mind more powerful. Make the mind, because some concentration is just to have one pointedness of mind, right? So when people think of it as, concentration is the, I don't know what to call it, not equipment, but it's another factor for you to have the right wisdom. Sila, Samadhi, Panya, precepts, good conduct, gonna lead you to the right concentration. And from the right concentration in the state of jhana, and then you will see things as they really are. When the mind is powerful, when the mind is stable, focused, concentrated, it's just like when you, like this, things that arise and pass away, you can see clearly. You can see like, oh, this is the, I see, not I see, the feeling arise, the feeling fade away, the feelings arise, the feeling cease, something like that. So the right concentration is the factor that leads you to the right wisdom or the right insight. Wisdom. That's it. So you are, you're unable to reach the state of, to see things clearly as they really are. You cannot achieve that without the one pointedness of mind. Because just like when you do this, you cannot see clearly, right? Oh my God. You cannot see clearly because it's blur. When you have the monkey mind, many things going on in the head, the memory, the perception, the thinking, the many things going on. You cannot see that is arise and cease. You cannot see that. But when you are focused, stable, still, you can see things as they really are. Aniccaṅ, tukkhaṅ, and not self, anatta. It is the good karma. Yes, but Think of it. Now think of it. Because if you think like, oh, state of Shana gonna be the good karma, then I should have the Shana. Maybe the first Shana is not enough. Maybe the fourth Shana, maybe the eighth Shana in the eighth Shana. I don't want you to stuck with the concept of Shana. Think of it as just like another factor to the wisdom. The first Shana is okay. Is actually you can reach the arahantship even though you reach the first Shana. Why the Buddha doesn't add the fifth and to the eighth Shana in the right concentration? Why? Because when you have like the no form Shana, nothing's going on inside. No form. It's just like, oh, good, equanimity. You cannot see anicca dukkha anatta until you out of the Shana and you're like, oh, this is so good. And then Rupa Shana, you still have craving for Rupa Shana or for the form, for the Shana. If you still have craving for the Shana, you're still the Anakhami. But you can get rid of the craving for the Shana, then Arahant. Okay. Suchi asks, Ayya, is Satipatthana 4 ways of meditation practice? It is the way to meditate. When you focus on the bodies like Kaya, yeah, Anapanasati or it's included in the Satipatthana 4, so it's good for you to learn. Smiley Lane says Satu, Satu, Satu. Pumika said blessing. Hello Pili. Hello Anushit. Hello Pumika said thanks for beautiful teachings. Amaranta say hello. Shayanta say happy healthy new year. Ayya. Greg said, I think I remember that the Buddha said that the human realm is the best place to be reborn in because it was most conducive to studying and practice the Dhamma. Did I remember that right? Actually, yes. The lower realm, hell, animal, the 4 lower realm, not a good place to go because you get all the bad consequences that you have done, right? You just suffer all the time. In the heaven or in the Brahma realm, heaven and Brahma realm, you get only the good consequences that you have done in the human realm. So all the good thing, all the sensual pleasure, what you wish for, you can get. You always beautiful and always healthy or something like that, and you live long. For example, in the Abhidhamma said, the first heaven, 50 years in the human. It's just one day and one night in the first heaven. 100 years of human life is one day and one night in the second heaven. So they live long. Even, the Brahma just like forget about it. So you cannot learn anicca dukkha anatta. You cannot learn the truth. And you're gonna stuck in the samsara when the consequence that you've done is gone. Then you have to be reborn again. In the lower realm or in the human realm, it's up to your actions when you are human. It's up to, So even though the heaven and the Brahma live long and happy, it's not gonna last. But when you are human, you can now choose to go up, to go down. When you do bad things, bad conducts, kill people, blah, 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 then you go down. And when you cultivate like unwholesome qualities, like over angry, greedy all the time, go down. But when you do the the right effort, you do the good karma, you give the offering, you meditate, you give offering, you happy, you do the loving kindness, you kind, you know, compassion and things like that, the good karma, you're gonna have the good consequence, and it's gonna make you, you can choose to go up to the heaven or to the Brahma realm, but it's not gonna last forever. What you did wrong in your human life, you're gonna get it anyway, and then reborn again in the lower realm. So the Buddha is the one who realized the truth, and the one who instructs us all to, no, heaven is not the best place to go. The Brahma realm is not the best place to go. What you should go is to nirvana, out of this samsara, get out of its cycle of rebirth. So when you have the human, you are considered as a human, it's your decision to go, like where to go. Up there, down there, or out of samsara. How to go out of samsara? Follow the path that lead to nirvana. That's it. Okay, Kit say thank you, Ayya. Suchi say thank you. Vivian say thank you, Ayya, and best wishes. Alexandra say hello. Can you say something about the balance of right effort in Sutta MN19? The Buddha divided his thought into wholesome and unwholesome. His body became tired when he was practicing. How can we practice without become tired? I don't recall the Sutra MN19, so I'm not sure what's in there. But maybe we can discuss next time. But I'm gonna answer to this question. How can we practice without become tired? How to practice without become tired? Then you can rest. Practice. I have to say that I don't recall the Sutra MN19. I'm familiar with the balance of right effort, but I cannot, give the answer now because I didn't read it through. I cannot record it in whole. So when you practice and you become tired, maybe ask yourself, maybe you desire to achieve something or not, right? If you have the desire to achieve something, then you struggle. Then you I want to do that. I want to do that. Maybe more and more. And when you become tired, maybe it's not the good practice because you practice with desire to achieve something, aren't you? Maybe you have to you can you can rest. You don't have to sit cross leg to meditate. Whenever you do in your daily life, when you clean the dishes, when you do the laundry, when you drive, when you do any chore in your life, in your daily life, you can do it with mindfulness. And that may be, and then you can rest. Don't torture yourself too hard because the Buddha said, torture, tukkalakiriya, is not the way to end a suffering. And when you, spoil your body, spoil the mind, spoil kilesa, unwholesome qualities, it's not the end of suffering. So you have to balance. J. Bowen said, does craving to continue existence and craving to end existence also include wanting or not wanting? Yes, it's another translation. To be in certain state of being while alive, or is it only talking about existence after death? No, it's not about mainly, not solely, not only about existence after life, but also about now. I want to become this. I want to have this. This is craving too, the second type of craving. I want to not become this. I want to not have it. But people don't say that, right? I want to not be a president. we don't say that. We say, I don't want to do this project. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to, I don't want to die. So some people think like, oh, this is not the cause of suffering because I don't want to. No, it's not that. I don't want to die is I want to not die. So this is the third type of craving. So it's not solely or only about the life after this, but about, in this life as well. Want to do something, want to become something, or want to not do something, want to not become something as well. Okay? So yes, for Alexander, practice without become tired. So you practice with, let go of. When people practice, I'm sorry if like this is 1 hour and maybe 16 minutes already, but I want to talk more about this one. When people practice, we all, even I have, I've heard that person can have like the jhana. I want to have that one too. Okay, now, how? Maybe you're gonna do this, and then I practice. This time I don't have it. Maybe more. I should sit more. And then I get tired because I want to have something. I want to achieve something. I compare to another person. I compare myself to another person. Or some bhikkhuni, I don't mention the name. Some bhikkhuni said she used to, struggle so hard in practicing, in meditation. Why? Because everything is in rush. I have to, eat fast. I have to wash clothes fast. I have to do everything fast in order to meditate. And just like, I want to reach nirvana. I want to reach nirvana. No, it's not the way. That's maybe Tukalakiriya. You can live your life with practicing, with mindfulness. That is, so it's good to do the retreat. It's good for you to sit like half an hour or 15 minutes, just like to detox yourself, to tame the mind. The monkey minds always go around, right? Think this, remember that, blah, blah, blah. You just take some time to sit cross-legged alone, to tame the mind, to focus, to familiar with this state of being stable, being still, and have the, power. So you just like can drag the mind back. Oh, think about this. No, come here to the breathing, something like that. It just, you can sit cross-legged, just think of it as the way to tame the mind only in this specific, only this period of time. But it doesn't mean that you practice 30 minutes a day and you just like, be monkey mind all day long, 23 hours and 30 minutes, not like that. You just tame the mind only this specific, only this period of time, and then still continue to practice it in your daily life with whatever you do. When you eat, don't have to rush to sit cross-legged and meditate. You can have the mindful eating. When you wash your clothes, be mindful. Oh, this is not me. This is just like the action, right? And I should do this. I should do that. Something like that. Like not for, or don't use like the wrong ingredient or something like that. You be mindful in whatever you do, and that is the way to practice. Use the teachings of the Buddha into your daily life. Okay, I hope that answered the question. Jay Brown said, thank you very much, Ayya, and I hope everyone is doing well. Dharma learner said, your enthusiasm is always appreciated. Thank you for the extra time. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry for taking the extra time, but it's quite a long sutra, and I believe we all have the good session today. Me, myself, have learned a lot too, so I hope you all have learned a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vivian. And may we part, let us say Satu 3 times. Satu, 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 Anumodhami. May you all be protected by the triple gem. May you all be happy in learning and, be in the path that leads to the end of suffering. May you all be healthy and use this life as useful as you can, because with this human life, you can choose to go up, to go down, or to get out of the samsara. No more rebirth. And may people around the world be safe. And, in Japan as well. May all of you be safe and happy and practice and then reach the nirvana soon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Johan. Thank you, Pili and Pipik. And thank you, Greg. Have a good day today and see you again next week. Goodbye.